We good?
Yep.
We're
All
good.
right, perfect.
To start things off, like, how did you guys initially like end up connecting?
It was
Yeah,
over
what?
2 years ago, easily. Erica texted me. She's from Epic Records, and she was like, "Do you want to get in the studio with her?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" So we was in the studio, and I think that's the night we cut racks.
You at that time where I felt like were one of the greatest up and coming rappers, like
Mm,
conscious and just like super lyrical and super
mm.
passionate. And I could tell as soon as I met you that you just love music, and that's how we bonded. That's how we started to kick it.
Yeah, nah, for sure. And it was dope because like we was probably in the studio for like 6 to 8 hours, and then
Yeah.
we probably was just kicking it for like 7 hours, and then spent like an hour on the song. But we was able to just really like vibe and
Yep.
kick it and bond in like a real, like genuine, organic way. And that's why even through these years and through the next decade, you know what I'm saying, it's always gonna be like, real love and like real family. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it
Yep.
started in a genuine, organic way.
Yeah.
Facts. You were one of the first rappers that I met that didn't have a whole posse with you. You were dolo. You were just there,
Dolo.
and then you left, and I'm like, "Yo, you good?" You like, "Yeah." Walking through Times Square, like, and I thought that was so cool. It just reminded me of me so much that we both
Yeah.
kind of just do our own thing.
I feel like this song was like a perfect melding of dealing with like social media and how to like present yourself and versus like gaining inner peace.
I think the main thing in relation to that song and this time, we said all of them racks and things, they don't relax the pain. I think throughout this quarantine, everybody's realizing what's important, and that stuff is not important. You know, um,
Mm.
like there's no area or space to, flaunt anything. Like nobody cares about what jewelry you got on, what kind of car you drive. Like you couldn't even get in your car to go see your family, and people are starting to realize that that's what's important. So we vibed on that level as well, as far as the authenticity thing and kind of what matters to us both, and that stuff is great.
How have you guys been like handling quarantine and um, everything right now?
I just been in the house like recording for the most part, kind of just staying to myself. And I flew at the beginning of quarantine. I flew down south to like be with my mom and like my family for like 2 months because I haven't been able to do that in like the last 2 years. Just by touring and being on the go so much. So like this sort of like just opened up that opportunity for me to just be with my family, trying to find the positives even in the most darkest things. And so I just been able to record, make more music, be like more self-reflective, if that makes sense.
Yeah, me too. I've definitely been reflecting a lot. I've had to be faced with those things that you're too occupied to deal with, or that just you're just going, so you never take that moment to just check on yourself, or dig a little bit deeper and have that time to be even emotionally available for people. It's been dope. I've been learning a lot, and I think everybody's been learning a lot, and there's been a
Mm.
lot of eye openers these past few months, which has been great. Which is crazy. I wanted to talk a little bit about Lord is Coming in our performance.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back at that video, again, the organic vibe between the two of us and how we even related on how passionate we are about these issues and things that we're dealing with right now. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, one of the questions wanted to ask was like, both of you use like faith as like a major like theme or motivator in your music. Was that part of like a major conversation when you like get in the room together?
So Lord is Coming was a song. I actually wrote it like 3 years ago, and it's a little bit political, but it definitely is just about how we it's just all this stuff that's happening in the world right now. Yeah, the song was more so just like it's never too late to turn around, and it's never too late to really look at your life and say what's really going on, and to look at the world and say what's really going on. So, faith is always there. Faith is what holds me together. It's what gives me hope.
Yeah, you don't get like faith is and hope is, you need that to survive, especially in times like this. And Lord is Coming is just like just super powerful. Like when I heard it, and her spoken word part was just so dope, and just so incredible. And we already know like her is like an incredible artist, but when I heard that, I was just like, what the fuck, like this shit is crazy. And when they asked me to like add my touches to it, I sort of just, followed her lead and was so inspired by her verse in that, it was very easy for me to write my part.
I want to talk about like the single from her, like I Can't Breathe, and how that came about.
It happened in the middle of all the protests. It wasn't even a specific movement or anything that pushed me to write the song. It just came from straight pain of seeing videos online. It wasn't fueled by anything other than anxiety and pain and worry for, black men, and black women, black men and black women, just black people. And, I'm at home watching all these videos thinking like, this could be my uncle, this could be my aunt, this could be my sister or my dad. And that's really, really hard to deal with. And that's really hard to even comprehend. One of the lines in the song, it was a real question that we had, how do we cope when we don't love each other? And then, a few days after I wrote the song, I felt like there was still more to be said. So I put the spoken word on the end because it just felt like it wasn't enough, to fit just 8 bars of a verse in a chorus. But it really it means so much just to say I can't breathe. It's a tribute to George Floyd, but it's also it's such a metaphor to the fact that we're not really free because we're suffocating and we're scared, and that's not freedom, living in fear. And that's really where that song came from.
Here we are 400 years later, talking about the same issues and the same injustices and the same monstrosities that are happening to Black people, and it's a shame, to be honest, and it's heartbreaking, and it's just fucking terrible. Like, I'm just sick to my stomach and just tired.
When you're like writing about like current events, is that a challenging thing for you to like articulate? I mean, also interested in if you're writing about like really intimate moments, how those are differ in the writing process and like your thinking.
Well, my writing process is all over the place. Some things are easy because they write themselves and it kind of just comes out. But that's the thing about being creative. You just never know what's going to happen when you step in a room or a studio or you pick up a guitar or your voice memos. And that's what's dope about being creative. Or, I know Cordae could relate to this, of having like a whole concept and almost it like being a movie in your head and thinking, this is exactly what I want to say and this is the story. But everything I write is based on personal experience, whether it's exaggerated or it's exactly plain and simple what it is, but it's all personal experience.
Yeah, same for me. It's just like a free flowing feeling, because that's where the best music comes from. It's our job as artists to create markers in time, from like Jill Scott Heron to the Kendrick Lamar All Right, and so this is
Nina Simone.
Exactly. And so it is our duty, as the new leaders of music, it's our job to speak on, things that's going on in the real world, whether it be through music or through our platform, because that's what we are here to do, to create change, to use our platform to speak on things that some of our listeners may or may not know about, because it's so easy to, when you reach like a certain level, to become, sort of out of place or, disconnected. Exactly. But, it's our job. It's imperative. We have to stay connected with our people and things that are going on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's why we're here. Continue to spread love and awareness through our music and to continue to heal through our music, because that's what music does. It heals. It teaches. It makes you happy. It makes you escape sometimes from the real world, or it takes you to reality that you may not choose to face, you may not want to face, and it takes you there. And I'm really proud of Cordae for doing that in your music and in your personal life. I saw you, Cordae, being a real like frontline protester.
Thank you, sis. I'm proud of you for always using your platform to speak on what's going wrong. It gets tiring and exhausting speaking on these things, and you can get emotional, and this is like some post-traumatic stress shit that we're going through,
Yeah, it really is.
Post-traumatic slave disorder is like a real thing, like,
definitely real.
And we're all dealing with that. And today what we're dealing with, this is like traumatic experiences, to see people that look like you being killed by the police and nothing's being done about it. And we just gonna continue to do this. You know, I'm with you for life. Can't get
Yeah,
rid of me, fam. You know
that's
what I'm
right.
saying?
That's
And
right.
so we gonna continue to fight the good fight.
I think what we're realizing now, this generation specifically, is that we do hold the power and we do have a voice and we do have an opportunity to create change.
Well, another question that I had, because Cordae's music touched on this, but is like bringing together people from like different generations and
Yeah.
like allowing like the message to cross that gap.
I don't personally think it's youth based. I think it's all people of all colors of all generations because I think all people are speaking up and all people are changing, but we are the future. So that is why our voices matter. The youth is the future. We are going to be the future leaders.
Like just what Gabby just said, everything that's happening right now, everybody coming together. I don't think there is like no generational gap or disconnect with this issue that is going on right now. It's bringing, it's more of a togetherness with everything. It's just like, it's just right versus wrong. You know.
Exactly. And that's what we said in Lord is Coming, like everybody knows right from wrong. So we have to continue to live in our purposes, walk in our purposes, because, like you said, you never know who is touched by what you have to say or your art. And that's the
Mm.
beautiful thing about music. And that's the beautiful thing about what we do is when you're genuine with yourself, you help somebody else.
Well, thank you so much for like taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
No, thank you. Appreciate
I
y'all.
can't wait to see the finished result.